Hey, hey.
Hey,
Welcome to the Brian and Kristen podcast. I'm Brian,
and I'm Kristen.
and I am here in Long Island right now at a library. And so I think there's somebody getting tutored next door to us over here. So if somebody, if you hear some extra talking, that's what's going on there.
Someone's getting educated.
Yeah, somebody's getting educated. So, but here we are. We're doing our podcast, and this month, or this week, I'm sorry, we're going to do something a little different. We want to do a tribute to uh, Peter Condopoulos, who was my agent in Cincinnati, Ohio, for a long time, and then this year he took on Kristen, and we got a video of Kristen meeting with Peter, and this guy was a great guy. I really, really loved him a lot, and so I want to, kind of give this video a tribute to him. So, let
Well,
you
I
want to
think
just
you missed the part that he passed away a couple weeks ago, though.
yeah. Oh, sorry. He passed away. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday night in his sleep. He just kind of passed away, and we had last Thursday we had a memorial for him at the office, his agency office, and so I really loved this guy. He was amazing and a great agent, great friend. So I would like to play this video of when Kristen met him, and I was doing a YouTube video, and let's play that.
All right, I'm about to go see a big agent here in Ohio.
What are you doing, Brian? I was taking a video of her getting signed with her Ohio agent.
Oh
Yeah, make sure you
the big guy
in the back there.
All his accolades.
Not me. Okay. I hate my picture taken. Okay. Okay, so welcome to the agency.
Thanks.
Good night to have you aboard. So there we go. We got um, the signing of Kristen with the PCG Talent Agency, and tell me, Kristen, what your thoughts were about all that.
He's just such a funny guy. And although that was my only meeting with him in person, we did hang out with him a little bit afterwards. And something that stuck out to me was how kind and generous he was, showing us pictures of that where he'd taken the staff to Key West and all the things that they got to do, and how much travel was a big part of his life. And I can't believe, I mean, I was shocked to hear that he had passed away. It just didn't seem like he didn't seem like anything was wrong with him at all. Like it's one of those where you're in shock.
Yeah, it was real surprising because he didn't have any ailments or anything like that I knew of. I mean, pretty regular, and I kind of was, I was real shocked when I, found out, and but I thought that it kind of, for his personality, it was kind of fitting, because he wasn't in pain, right? He didn't have any kind of a long ailment that took a while that would put anybody out, right? Because he was the type of guy that wouldn't want that. So I was like, he, passed away in his sleep. So I was like, man, it's like shocking, but it's kind of fitting. And I feel like that's the way he would have wanted it to go down, right? I think if given the option, most people would take that option, right? And but he was really funny. He, like you say, he was a very funny guy. He used to always quote George Carlin to me. He loved one particular thing where George Carlin said, "It's a big group and you ain't in it," and, and talking about the elites and the people in charge. And he could sit there and quote George Carlin like crazy. So I really liked that about him. And he would also always take me to eat after the auditions a lot. We would go to the bar that you went to, the restaurant. It was called the Blue Goose. And he would, after auditions, so I would always try to schedule my auditions close to the time of like if the auditions ended at 3 p.m., I would schedule them for 2:45 or 2:30, knowing that we would go to the Blue Goose afterward. And so it was nice on his when they had this memorial for him, because a lot of, I mean, all that it was all the actors and everybody came, and then we went to the Blue Goose with some people I went with afterward, and yeah, it just kind of shows you got to get stuff done in life because you don't know when it's gonna be finished. And I mean, he had a lot of success. I mean, he was like the biggest agent in Ohio. I think there's like a couple others, but it was you know
Someone's got to
so
be at the top.
yeah, somebody's got to be at the top, and he did it for over 20 years. So I, and you know, when he would bring you in for an audition in Ohio, it's a little different. Your agent films your auditions and then they send it to the casting people. In California, you went to the casting place and then they did your auditions. But with Peter, I liked having him do my auditions. I mean, he was very abrupt and fast, but if you didn't do good, and had that Australian accent, he'd go, "Not good, mate. Not good. I've seen other people today. You're not getting the part, mate. You're not getting the part. You didn't practice, mate."
Yeah, I like that he would get you'd send your audition in and you'd go, well, Peter said my hair looked wet because it was when I rushed through it, so I had to redo it. He didn't let anything fly. Like he didn't want to. And that's, I think, something that that his brand or his image. He didn't want, and his reputation. That's the word. He didn't want his reputation to. He was going to send in something bad if it didn't represent his company well.
Right. Yeah, he definitely was a stickler on having it professional, and he really pushed you, and because a lot of times some of the people in the business, you do an audition, they'll, oh, that was great, and it wasn't great, and then you leave thinking, oh, I did great, and meanwhile Peter's like, oh, that sucked, and and you're like, okay, that sucked. But sometimes, and then when he finally would be like, "Oh, that's a good one, Bri," I knew I would be like, whenever he said that's a good one, I thought either I'm gonna get this part or I'm gonna get pretty close to it, and that usually is what happened. So, and I appreciated him because he kept me working when I came back to Ohio, and I kind of needed that for my morale after everything that had gone down. So. Um,
So what are they going to do with the agency now?
Well, they're going to keep it going because the Peggy, who he started the agency with, she's going to keep going work from Dayton and Cincinnati. They still got, I mean, because they got offices in Dayton, Cincinnati, Columbus. So they've still sent me on some castings since. So it's just that, man, we're all gonna miss him because he was such a character. And we had the Christmas party last year, and I got some videos from that too. And he's giving a speech, and they said, we had a great year this year, and he's giving a funny speech. And I mean, he was just a funny guy, and just I mean, and for me, it's in the business, in the entertainment business, it's not easy to find people that think the way that he thinks. He don't think exactly like me. He doesn't probably agree with everything, but he and I can sit there and talk conspiracies, and he would say, oh, the Chinese got us on this one. They really pulled one over on us here. and and then and it's kind of weird too because he passed away on a Thursday, and then I didn't know it until the following Monday. Um, and on Saturdays, like when everybody found out, but I heard about it on Monday when everybody went back to work. And but on Saturday night, strangely enough, that Saturday, I'd come up across the George Carlin video I was going to send him. I didn't end up. I was like, oh, I'll show him this when I see him in person. But it was just weird that
Oh, wow.
he'd already passed away, and I came across this George Carlin video that it had, and it was pretty cool. I mean, he knew the jokes already of the George Carlin, but it came up with different memes and stuff like that, on the
Maybe
video.
he weirdly sent it to you from the other side.
Man, that could have been.
I mean, I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, that could be. I mean, but when I see a George Carlin, but that one in particular, I was, oh yeah, this is one I should send to Peter. But So
So
yeah,
maybe
so
he
that's
sent it
just
to you first.
was that
He sent it to you first.
that could be. Wonder why.
You should go back and watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I don't know if I didn't see it. I don't know. I guess I can find it somewhere. But so yeah. So that was. So that's why today I said, you know what, we'll go back to our questions next week. But today I just wanted to kind of dedicate the podcast in his memory as being just. I mean, I love that guy. It's just disappointing, but you know what's the nice thing about him? Whenever I think about him, it still bring a smile to my face. I mean, I'm sad that he passed away, obviously, but his memory is just to me pleasant.
Mhm.
Which in the
And in the end, like, isn't that how you would hope that, like, I think everybody would want, well, maybe not everybody, that could be a large statement, but most people would want their memory to be that when you think of them, you smile or laugh or have, like, something, and you're not thinking about the negative. So, I mean, that's an awesome way to have that memory. I'm sure
yeah,
that's what he would want, right?
yeah, and it makes me want to keep going because he loved the idea of our movie. He was always asking me about it. What's going on with that movie? That's such a good, and I just, you can't take things for granted because I just say, yeah, we'll get that movie made. Peter will help us find all the actors. It'll be great. And you just can't take things for granted like that because you don't know.
Right. Yeah. Hmm.
So, so,
Well,
but now, so you still got an agent there, PCG.
I
Just
mean, he did send me. I got quite a few things they sent me. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the shoot dates were when I would be unavailable, so I wasn't really able to take them on. But I was impressed with, like, I mean, they did send me something for $25,000. I mean, that's like,
yeah, if you got that, it'd be worth a try.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they had some good ones. I mean, I'm still on that Grismer commercial. I wish I would have got residuals on that one because people are still seeing that during the games at the commercial breaks. Where I'm putting a tire on the thing. So,
Everybody knows that's acting.
yeah,
Anybody
yeah,
who knows me knows
exactly.
that's acting.
Yeah, and so because they would, I got decent, a lot of really cool jobs from them. I was going to say decent, but I was like, no, they were all good. It wasn't like, but I, being as hard as the business is to get gigs, they kept me going.
And also in Ohio, you wouldn't think that there would be that many commercial opportunities and not just that many auditions, but they always seem to have you doing something that was like
Eh,
legit.
yeah, every week auditions, and I feel like every couple months, I was like, I I'll get something, and it's actually more fun doing it in Ohio when you get the jobs because uh, even because the people have regular lives and then they do acting. Where in California, it was only acting, right? And the auditions were strenuous when I was in California because people's rent depended on it.
Yeah.
And when I go to an audition in Ohio, if I go to his office or sometimes the casting lady there, the people are much more relaxed. They want to get the part, but they can go work construction and they got regular jobs. And it's just kind of a better vibe, I feel. It's more like it should be fun, not just like so dang competitive. I mean, it's still a lot of competition, but you know
Hmm.
what Peter would say about the people from Ohio that they don't put everything in, like they do it, but he's always thought that the LA and New York people, because their life is dependent on it, got the videos in quicker,
Oh, right.
learned their lines better, stuff like that. But yeah, he was an awesome guy. I think the hard thing about it was when we had his memorial service. He has a dog named Chloe, and it's a beagle, and it's a chubby fat dog. I mean, like, kind of looked like Peter actually, kind of chubby and waddle, and she was there. The dog was there, and that kind of broke my heart. like seeing the dog without her home. So that's what I think this week will is a memorial to the great agent at PCG Talent, Peter Condopoulos. He was a very interesting, amazing guy. Really loved him, and wish I could see him more. One more time at least. Man, that's what always happens. Like, well, I want to see him one more time. I want to go to the, you know, Blue Goose one more time and have one more audition. But life don't always go the way you want it to, you know, right? But that's and I'm happy you got to meet him, Kristen. I knew you guys would get along. He pretty much signed you as soon as you got there. Like
I like got out of the car. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can. That's fine. That'll work."
it's like because most people he gives a hard time. You gotta have a monologue down. You gotta have, you know, you gotta have your reel together.
I said, "Here's the T-Mobile commercial. Is that decent?" And then he's like,
Yeah.
"How'd you get that? You got that on your own?" I did. You probably didn't get all you could have gotten out of it because you didn't have an agent. You didn't get the best deal in your contract. Oh, okay. Well, now, Peter, I got you. That was
Yeah.
he gave me a hard time for not having an agent and getting that.
So, but awesome. Well, let's we'll go back to taking our questions next week. We got a question from George next week. If anybody has questions they'd like us to answer on the next one, we definitely will. And you know, please put them in the comments. And you know, we love you, Peter, up there in heaven. Although you didn't really say you believed in God that much, but I'm still sure He still took you in. So
I can almost hear him saying, "No, I'm standing out here outside the pearly gates. I'm just looking in."
having a beer.
Exactly. I'm cool, just hanging out outside.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add, Kristen?
No, I think that's pretty much it. So,
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one.
bye.
Bye.